Alright, man, peace. So, brothers, I've done a series of videos pertaining to the issues that are befalling the Los Angeles Lakers. As of right now, they're 7-6. I do believe that they're going to continue their turnaround, and by the end of the season, they're going to win anywhere from 48 to 52 games. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've also made some assertions about Mr. John Wall based on what I've seen from him this season. Not only in regards to his play, but also his outlook and just how he looks physically. It's pretty obvious to me that John Wall has a substance abuse issue, allegedly, and I've stated that a couple of times in other videos. Well, now I've just come across a segment where Mr. Stephen A. Smith seems to confirm that. So they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Tony, thank you so much. So you guys heard the deal with the game last night. Obviously, I know you were there as well. So they added Tyson Chandler. But Max, how many pieces are the Lakers missing? I mean, to really be contenders.
Okay, look.
Well, first off, Molly Karam, the pieces that the Lakers are missing, they're not going to be able to attain this season. Most likely anyway. Because I'm going to assume that Magic Johnson is not going to pull the trigger on a potential Anthony Davis trade this year, but you never know.
Look, we're not talking about long term, like going past this season to try to compete with the Golden State Warriors, because that's a whole different conversation. We're talking about this year. What are they missing in order to first make the playoffs and then win at least one playoff series, which I think we all agree is the bare minimum requirement for it to be considered a success for LeBron James?
Well, first off, let me say this. As of this segment, the Lakers had already acquired Tyson Chandler. So in my view, they're not missing anything in order to make the playoffs, which are the parameters that Mr. Max Kellerman is delivering to the viewing audience. I think that as of right now, they have enough. The impact that Tyson Chandler has made on their defense has been very tangible. And offensively, they've been very good for the entire season. I think that LeBron James is going to step it up as this season meanders along, especially at about the 40 or 45 game mark. You're going to see him start to ratchet it up to make sure that he gets his stats and to make sure that he's preparing himself for playoff mode. I think that this Laker team right now can win 50 games.
Anything past one playoff series win is gravy. That's great. You did even better than we thought. Anything less, we'll say you could do a little bit more. What do the Lakers need? They need one more star player with LeBron. Not a Brandon Ingram, who may one day be a star. Not a Kyle Kuzma or a Josh Hart, who are already good NBA players. They're solid, I think, starting pieces already. But something less than all-stars.
Well, here's the problem, Max Kellerman. The lineup that the Lakers have this season is far better, in my view, discernibly better, than the Cleveland Cavaliers team that LeBron James played on last year. And he was able to lead that team to 50-plus wins and make the playoffs, of course. I believe they were the third or fourth seed last year. Are you telling me that he cannot take this current Lakers roster with Rajon Rondo and very promising young players, a Tyson Chandler, and he cannot even make the playoffs? As of right now, they have what they need to make the playoffs.
Not Alonzo Ball, who's going to have to fix his shot a little, although it's been falling this year, and needs the ball in his hands, or a Rondo who's good in the playoffs but is not an all-star during the regular season.
I think that Lonzo Ball has played better without the ball than I thought he would. So I have to give him a lot of credit. He's also played very good defense.
They need another great player to play next to LeBron James. And the reason I say it like that is I'm not just going to identify shooting. Stephen A. has been calling for Bradley Beal.
I'm so confused as to why so many of these LeBron James superfans in the media always inundate the people with this notion that LeBron James needs another great player. If, according to them, LeBron James is so far ahead of all the other players in the NBA, why would he need another great player just to make the playoffs? Makes no sense.
Okay, he's a very good player. Or, hey, what if they could get this star or that? Do they need help in the middle? Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee, they addressed that to a point, but you need one guy who can also play in other ways other than just kind of being a shot alterer in the paint. It's not even about the X's and O's for me. But you need another great player to play alongside LeBron James. Well, for example, if Anthony Davis, who is now represented by Rich Paul, could somehow be arranged for, right? Someone like that, clearly, but even less than that.
Well, let me stop Max Kellerman right here, because I do believe that eventually Adam Silver will try to grease the skids to assist the LA Lakers in potentially being the recipients of Anthony Davis's services. That's if Magic Johnson tries to push the envelope this season. Either way, I do believe that Adam Silver is going to do his best to make sure that LeBron James is paired with another top-level player, if not this season, over the course of the offseason. And as of right now, we all know about how Draymond Green detonated on Kevin Durant. Now, could that precipitate KD's move somewhere else? We'll find out. I have to wonder how Kevin Durant believes it will affect his legacy if he decides to team up with LeBron James, where he will still be the beta, he will not be the alpha. But in regards to what Max Kellerman is saying, once again, it's just so strange to me. LeBron James is supposedly light years ahead of everybody. He's the greatest player ever. I mean, even though Max Kellerman has stopped short of saying that, he still asserts correctly that Jordan is the greatest player, at least in his view, that he's viewed. But he has LeBron James over Kareem, over Magic, over Bird, etc. I don't understand how LeBron could be that great, but he needs an Anthony Davis just to get the Lakers to the playoffs. That makes no sense to me.
Than that, if it was what I mean by all-star, Stephen A., even if it was a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's been a locker room problem.
Well, you could forget about that because, as we know by now, Jimmy Butler is with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Apparently, or a chemistry problem on several teams now, and is not really a great shooter, but is an excellent player. Even someone like that, a legitimate crime partner for LeBron, is what he's going to need to make the playoffs. It can't be like the Cavs last year. This is the Western Conference. It can't be like the Cavs where they make these moves for something less than excellent players, and then they're going to hope to advance in the playoffs. He needs another excellent player to play alongside.
Everybody knows that the Los Angeles Lakers are going after either Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, or Anthony Davis come.
Thank you, sir. And, you know, once again, so Damian Lillard, he can make the playoffs with just C.J. McCollum. Donovan Mitchell is expected to lead the Utah Jazz to the playoffs this year with just Rudy Gobert. In Denver, Jokic is expected to lead the Denver Nuggets to the playoffs with just Jamal Murray and a couple of other players. But LeBron James needs Anthony Davis to assure that he's going to lead the Lakers to the playoffs.
Come next summer. Anthony Davis, a slimmer possibility because it would have to be via trade since New Orleans has his rights for the next 2 years. Let me be very, very clear about what I'm saying. You have to strike while the iron's hot. And you need to get on the phone and talk to Ernie Grunfeld and the Washington Wizards. A catastrophe is in the making in Washington.
Hey, brothers, I hope that you heard that. So that in a couple of months, when you hear a lot of information come out pertaining to Mr. John Wall, you're not surprised.
In our nation's capital, as it pertains to basketball, the Lakers have a prime opportunity to capitalize on that, in my opinion. The situation with John Wall is so bad, Max Kellerman. I'm getting pictures of John Wall off the court. What people are seeing him. They're bringing up Rose Bowl, one of the most popular nightclubs, if not the most popular nightclub in D.C. They're talking about off-field habits. John Wall, pay attention.
Hey, brothers, y'all pay attention also. Did you see what Stephen A. Smith just stated? He looked into the camera. He said, they're talking about off-the-field habits, John Wall. That means what? That means one of two things. That means the brother's an alcoholic, allegedly, and most likely a cokehead, allegedly. That means that the brother has an issue with alcohol, allegedly, and or cocaine, allegedly, as I've stated in other videos. It's just very obvious to me when I look at his face that he has a substance abuse issue, allegedly. Allegedly. But when I saw this segment here with Stephen A. Smith, it confirmed it for me.
I think I've been to the Rose Bowl once, but I'm not sure. But I know it's the hottest nightclub in D.C. I will tell you this. I'm going. I'm not apologizing for that. But that's a different subject for another day. I don't have to play in front of the Wizards. I'm not getting paid over $30 million. I'm not scheduled to make $46.9 million. Then the last year of my contract.
We know Stephen A. Smith. He only scheduled to make $46.8 million with ESPN.
4 years from now, so I'm held to a different standard. Here's the reality of the situation. You're the Los Angeles Lakers. I want you to be clear, Max, what I'm saying here.
Dramatic.
Do not. Yes, that's right. I'm real.
Well,
That's what it is. It ain't dramatic. It's real. I'm talking about basketball.
Molly Karam, the reason why Stephen A. Smith is so quote-unquote theatrical and dramatic is because he understands all these guys out here are delivering the same information. What separates Stephen A. Smith from everybody else is his delivery. Don't knock how he got there. For him to be a so-called black man, to be the biggest star at ESPN, and look, I get on Stephen A. Smith as much as anybody, but the reason why he's the top dog at ESPN is because of how he delivers his information. He's like the so-called black version of Howard Cosell. It's all about the delivery. He's like the so-called black version of Howard Cosell. He understands that it's all about the delivery, and it's very important to understand that. So Malik Karam, as usual, is speaking out of turn.
I'm talking basketball here. Everybody knows I'm talking basketball here. Here's the reality of the situation. Pay attention to this, Max. In no way am I saying that the Los Angeles Lakers should jeopardize their free agent maneuverability next summer. Let me preface my comments by saying that. Rondo and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope both come off your cap at the end of this season at $21 million. 12 for KCP, 9 for Rondo. You don't get rid of both of them. You get rid of one of them. When I watch...
Well, we know most likely it's going to be KCP that they get rid of.
When I sit up there last night, if you need one point guard. You may not need both of them. Lonzo Ball is going to be... Don't think the Lakers are that high on him anymore. They're not. I'm not saying he doesn't have an upside. I'm not saying he doesn't have potential. But would they consider moving him? Trust me, they will.
I'm sure that they will. I mean, when I look at Lonzo Ball, I see a player who is expendable, even though he has improved. And I've stated prior to this season that the Lakers would most likely move Lonzo Ball if they were able to acquire LeBron James.
So let me finish. So you're going to consider trading Lonzo Ball. You get on the phone with Ernie Grunfeld. You take Brandon Ingram. You take Lonzo Ball, because remember, you're going to owe them combined over $15 million next season because you got to swap in the trade. As a result, you offer them dudes along with somebody like KCP, so Ernie Grunfeld can get that $12 million off his cap. You ship Bradley Beal to LA. If you have LeBron with Bradley Beal, with Kuzma, with Hart, I promise you, you're going to have one of those superstars that's going to want to come to LA next year. That is what the Lakers should do, because right now Ernie Grunfeld has to do something in the nation's capital. John Wall, it's a disaster there right now. A disaster.
Here's the question.
You got to do something.
Okay, here's the question with Bradley Beal. I'm not opposed to that. I don't think Bradley Beal... I think Bradley Beal's a very good player. I don't think he's a great player. But I think...
I agree with you, sir. I think that Bradley Beal's a very good player. He's not a great player. He's somebody that, if he's on a championship level team, he's your third option, and no better than your third option.
But I think he's very good. I'm not opposed to that.
I got to interrupt you for this question. This question.
Yeah.
You know why I don't like that statement from
Go
you?
ahead.
Because I recall, and I can get the tape if you need me.
Sure.
How many times has Max Kellerman said, you can take a good player, and they could look exponentially better just because they're playing with LeBron?
Thank you, sir. Please hold his feet over the fire due to those asinine assertions.
How many times have you said that? Well, if Bradley Beal is already that good.
Right. I'm going to get to that. I agree. I'm not contradicting that statement.
You contradict yourself all the time when it comes to LeBron James, Max Kellerman. You literally do it all the time. And it's good to see Stephen A. Smith call you out about it. How could you state that just for the Lakers to make the playoffs, they need to get Anthony Davis, and they already have LeBron James? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anthony Davis expects his team to make the playoffs, and he does not have LeBron James on his team.
My issue with that trade is this. Bradley Beal is scheduled to make something between 25 to $30 million.
25, 27, and $29 million.
So he's between 25 and 30 each year of the next 3 years. I have no problem with that deal if you're also arguing that Bradley Beal either acts as a magnet for another superstar like Kevin Durant, or failing that has better trade value given what he's paid than both Ingram and Ball combined, because you're going to need to use those assets maybe in a trade for Anthony Davis.
Got it. I understand. What I'm saying to...
Very good counter, sir. But that still does not pay issuance to what Stephen A. Smith said in regards to your assertions that LeBron James makes everybody better. So, by your quote-unquote logic, LeBron James should be able to turn Bradley Beal into a player somewhere near on the level of James Harden, because according to you, LeBron James makes everybody that he plays with better.
And to you in response is this. I specifically said, don't compromise your ability to make a move next summer. Now, obviously, with a trade, if you were to acquire, that's why I brought up. See, because what I'm saying to you is this. I could take Rondo and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and I'm clearing $21 million. If I move them, I'm clearing $21 million on somebody else's cap instead of my own. You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't want to let go of both of them, because I want to hold on to one of them to chirp away and take somebody off my cap, so I can still move, so I can still have some maneuverability. I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm saying to you, Lonzo, in combo with Brandon Ingram, that's $15 million that they're owed next season combined, as opposed to you just losing a whole $21 million yourself.
What I'm saying, but here's my formula.
You're all fired up.
Here's my formula. Are you claiming that Bradley Beal's presence, rather than the presence of hopefully improving Lonzo and Ingram? I'm not opposed to trading those guys, but Bradley Beal's presence is more of a magnet for a guy like KD, and that's one. And two, given what he gets paid, is he a better trade asset for a guy like AD?
I'm telling you.
Actually, I think that what Stephen A. Smith was telling you before he allowed himself to get sidetracked by your wily response. What Stephen A. Smith was trying to say was that if you trade those two prospects for Bradley Beal to assist the Washington Wizards in extinguishing that dumpster fire, LeBron James, who you claim to be light years ahead of every other player in the NBA today, should be able to take that commodity in Bradley Beal and turn him into a player who could be considered a top 15 player in the NBA just due to playing with LeBron James. Because once again, you guys claim, when I say you guys, the LeBron James superfans, you claim that he makes everybody that he plays with better. That's what Stephen A. Smith was trying to allege before you confused him.
Telling you, Bradley Beal with LeBron and another star coming next summer means more to the Lakers' future than Lonzo Ball. That's what I'm saying. And an Ingram on this squad. On this squad.
Ball and Ingram combined is the question.
All right, we're going to break. Ever since you hosted the show, you listen to Time Q so nicely. Thank you for that.
Let me say this also. Stephen A. Smith should have stuck to his guns, because Max Kellerman is assuming that all of those assets that the Lakers have would be enough to get an Anthony Davis. And I'm not quite sure that they would be. I think that the Lakers would have to trade at least 3 of those young players, those prospects, not just Ingram and Ball. They'd also have to include either Kuzma or Hart, just for the New Orleans Pelicans to start to listen. But anyway, I do like what Stephen A. Smith acknowledged about John Wall, because I noticed the same thing when I saw his face. I mean, look. Just looking at him, I said to myself, this brother right here is on something. And hopefully I'm wrong about that, but we'll see. And in regards to Stephen A. Smith's statements that the Lakers are ready to trade Lonzo Ball, I don't doubt that at all. I look at Lonzo and I see a player who's going to need a fresh start on another team very soon, because even though he's done a moderately good job of acclimating himself to the LeBron James system, it's not going to work in the long run. Because not only will Lonzo Ball be gone relatively soon, but so will Luke Walton. So peace.